Okay, good morning, everyone. We're back to our Shalom Bayit class, Garden of Peace, Rabbi Shalom Arush. So we mentioned yesterday, right, that when we have peace at home, Hashem is dwelling in the house with us. Yeah, he says our sages taught that when a husband and wife merit the divine presence that should dwell between them, as the Talmud in Sotah says, when a man has peace in his home, the divine presence accompanies him and protects him from the pitfalls of the world. What does it mean, pitfalls of the world? When a husband has shalom bayit problems, obviously there's not the proper actions in the bedroom. You know, if there's no action there. So what happens? What happens? There's no action. When you have shalom bayit problems, how can you have action? So what happens is he's like a hungry dog, and he starts, to try to satiate his hunger, and therefore there's what's called pitfalls of the world. Here, various types of pitfalls. Hashem, many times, either a husband or sometimes a woman, they fall. So he says when there's peace in the home, it protects from these pitfalls. He has success and blessing in everything he does. Without peace at home, he is exposed to all dangers and doomed to darkness and failure. For, he quotes, when they do not merit, a fire consumes them. Without shalom bayit, he cannot succeed, for Hashem is not with him. Peace in the home is the source of all Hashem's blessings, which we need in order to bring ourselves and the world as a whole to perfection. Peace in the home is not a luxury or an added extra, something to make our lives more comfortable or enjoyable. No, it's not. He says it's the most important factor in man's individual life and in the perfection of the entire world. Yeah, he says it's not I'll be honest with you, all these years married, I thought that, it's always turmoil in a house. Yeah, because that's what it seems like, but no. Meaning it's always balagan in the house, always some kind of machloket with the wife. Why? Because we don't know how to properly, joystick the wife, by telling her nice things, by not commenting on her, by, being nice to her. And therefore, since we never do that, and many of us don't do that, right? There's always problems in the marriage. So you're thinking, marriage is like that. He says, no, marriage is not like that. No, again.
There's something there that why they fight.
You're talking, should I paint it green? Should I do it black? Whatever. We're talking real machloket problem. I don't know. Baruch Hashem, you don't have, but a lot of couples, disagreement is okay. Yeah.
So call it a fight. No.
No. So he says when he says no peace, he's not talking which restaurant we should go and you're arguing about whatever. Or what I want chicken, you want beef. He's not talking about that. He's talking about mamish, like no shalom bayit in the house. There's no way the couple or the husband or wife are in agreement to anything. Yeah. Why? Because he's not giving her the gasoline that she needs. You hear? So he says, marital peace is the most important and precious asset we have. We need to devote all our energy to achieving it, and be willing to pay any price to obtain it. We can't afford to live without it. When he's talking about price, he's not talking about money. He's not talking about money because we already reviewed the fact that you can have all the money and you can buy all the gifts that you want, but it's not going to help. What he's talking about paying any price is to break your character traits. You understand? Because one of the major problems we have, and he mentions this, is that we are gardan tachteh. How do you say that in English?
Stiff neck.
We are stubborn, stiff neck, but stubborn in what? In our ga'ava. I'm not going to bend. Why should I? I'm right. Yes, we know you're right. But sometimes being right is wrong. Here?
Or could be dumb.
Oh, so he says, Hashem places peace between husband and wife.
And if it's friends, you're involved.
Yeah.
You're mobbing.
Yeah. Makes it even worse. Instead of saying the opposite, he says Hashem places peace between husband and wife above everything else, even above his own honor. We learned this from the case of the Sotah, the wayward wife, right? The husband of a woman who secluded herself with another man suspects her of infidelity and brings her to the priest in the holy temple. The latter, meaning the Kohen, would inscribe the biblical passage dealing with the Sotah on a parchment, which was then immersed in a jug of fresh spring water until the writing is dissolved. The wife would then drink some of this water and it would test her innocence or not. The passage written on the parchment contains the Hashem's name, which is not allowed to erase, forbidden to erase. Yet here the parchment was purposely immersed in water until the writing had all been washed off. Hashem commanded us to erase his name in order to prove the innocence of a wife and make peace between her and her husband. There is no other situation where this is allowed. Can you imagine? Hashem commands, erase my name, let her drink it to prove her innocence. That's how important Shalom Bayit is for Hashem.
You know, when I heard that for the first time from him, I realized it's also how we're supposed to be humble ourselves. If Hashem is willing to have his name be erased,
maladzitz.
So
I like what you're saying. I like what you're saying. Humble ourselves. Erase our gava. Calm down. Here? This is even more incredible when we consider that Hashem himself observes the laws of the Torah. From where do we know that Hashem visits the sick? And Hashem appeared to him, Abraham, after his circumcision in the plains of Mamre. From where do we know that he buries the dead? As it says, and he buried him, Moshe. But when a couple's relationship is hanging on the balance, Hashem commands us to transgress a severe prohibition of the Torah, to erase his name, to teach how important it is to him, to Hashem, that a husband and wife live in peace. You hear? He says, how great is peace? For Hashem says to erase his name in water, the name that is written in holiness, in order to make peace between a man and his wife. He says, for the sake of peace, Hashem is willing to forego his honor, even though the whole world was created only for Hashem's honor. So therefore, he forgoes his honor in order to have peace. But the whole world was created for the honor of Hashem. As it says in Isaiah, everything which I call to be, everything which is called by my name and for my honor, I created it, formed it, and made it. Hashem wants us to know that his greatest honor is the couple's peace in marriage. Even though Hashem forgoes his honor to make peace between a man and his wife, this way his honor is actually increased. How? This is an expression of Hashem's magnificent humility, which makes us love and respect him all the more so. We learn an essential principle from this, namely, that when we concede something to make peace, we never lose but only gain. Meaning, if Hashem lowers his name as it is to lower his honor in order for there to be peace between man and wife, he says all the more so when we lower our, whatever it is that we need to lower, and create peace between ourselves and our wives, he says all the more so how much we gain, we never lose. The benefit of maintaining peace are twofold. You obtain peace, the vessel for all the blessings, and you also often preserve whatever you were willing to concede to. But if a person is abstaining and unwilling to concede something for the sake of peace, his loss will be double. No peace and no vessel for the divine blessing. Plus the loss of whatever one is unwilling to concede as well. You hear? So he's saying when you have an issue, how do you get peace? When you say, okay, no problem. You concede to the fact that there's an issue. What happens? You win two things. There's a peace at home. Therefore you have a kli, because he says no blessing is received unless there's a kli, and the kli of peace is the one that brings down the blessing. And he says, whatever you're now, arguing about is resolved. And when you don't concede, what happens? No, you don't have that, and you don't have peace. You hear? He says, who is the king of glory? Question mark. A man who's not willing to concede his honor for the sake of peace with his wife might succeed momentarily, but in the long run, he'll suffer greatly for it. His losses will outweigh his gains. Since it's impossible to have a peaceful relationship when a husband is fussy about his honor, once the peace is gone, he'll suffer great humiliation than whatever his wife would have given him. You hear? Meaning, if he doesn't forego before, if he doesn't, he thinks he wins. But what's going to happen towards the end? It says towards the end, he's going to be even more humiliated. How? A lot of times you have men in their 60s, they're all alone now. No wife to be with. Family's against him. Kids don't talk to him. You hear? What kind of humiliation is that? You hear? However, he says, when years ago he would stand up to the humiliation, or what he thinks is humiliation, by conceding to the fact, not arguing. You understand? He's going to be what? He's an armed person. He has a wife, he has kids, he has a family. It says the greatest humiliation is when others know that a man's home is in a battleground. If he tries to blame his wife, people will nonetheless look at him pitifully. Who is he trying to humiliate? The mother of his children and the foundation of his home? She's the woman he pledged to honor, love, and care for. Why is he destroying his home for his own convenience? You hear what I'm saying? Knowing this thing, knowing what he's saying, that most of the problems are really because of our issues. Anytime, as the Rav said before, we see married couple having problems, it's mamash. No matter what he says, you know who the culprit is. It's the man. You hear what I'm saying? So that's what he's saying.
On most occasions, where's the problem?
Yes, it's not the most okay. See, you're thinking, how is it that she is doing this and she's spending the money and she wants to do it? How is that his problem? It's a deeper problem than it is. What you're seeing is symptoms of a much serious problem that exists in him. You understand?
What if this is
This book only, I'm sorry, but this book for men only, right?
Yeah, there's a book for women also.
I guarantee you, book
Yeah,
for women
so
only is like
Yeah,
reverse psychology.
exactly.
Up
Yes,
this way,
but
also
you
it's
know
women,
what?
women,
But you know what? It's that
I
this
don't know.
this I don't know what's written in the book. Has the Rav read
I'm not
the
reading
book of the
tomorrow.
ladies yet?
Not allowed it.
No. You see, I don't know what's written in the book of the ladies. But but the bottom line is, whatever you are faulting it with, she's gonna do the symptoms. She's gonna do the symptoms much more. And therefore, you look at her and it's like, how is it my fault? I don't understand. She's the problem. Look, Abraham, she's the one that's acting crazy. She's the one that's acting up and doing all this stuff. She's the one that wants to go to Bahamas and all that. I tell them Bahamas is illegal. We can't go to Bahamas. This is whatever. So it's her fault, no? Yeah, she's displaying the symptoms out loud. But from him are coming the hidden, problems.
The real one.
So, as a doctor, Hashem is the ultimate doctor. He says, you go fix your ailment, whatever sickness you have, and she automatically will calm down. Yeah? You see? Huh?
Did you speak once to a person which is hungry for food? Huh? Did you speak to
You
him?
can't talk to him. Nearly.
You cannot even talk to him. Yes?
Yeah.
Now, timed by thousands, when the neshama is hungry, she's gonna eat you alive. She's gonna eat you.
Neshama
She's
is
gonna burn the money. She's gonna take you to places. That's how she's crazy. You are the crazy one because you don't know what to do.
When you want to play piano, if you put the right there's gonna be music. You have to know which.
Yeah?
you see something not there, it's not gonna happen.
Don't
The
get mad.
guys, they are.
What? I'm sorry.
You see,
You're
they,
not.
like you say, they have
Boris
what's called
John.
the disease.
He's
Boris
sharing
John.
his experience.
Boris John.
They want something,
She is the middle. She cannot do anything. Klum.
Yeah.
Klum.
but you don't judge them like that. When they come to you, you don't judge them. You look at their actions. You see what she's doing. You don't need to listen. You're not. That's wrong with you.
No,
You
every
don't say.
move I know already what smack I have to give this man because he is not doing his job.
In other words, we're both saying that man is always wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's why. You see, one second. First of all, it is recording. We're not going to get into personal questions or whatever. But what he wants to say is, what the Torah says, right? Ezer kenegdo, right? She is your reflection. Meaning, we cannot understand that. And he says it's going to be hard to you to understand. Why? But I don't know if you've heard one of the lessons. It says you have a problem like this. She's going to be 1,000 times this problem. Why? Because if you have a problem like this and she's going to reflect your problem like this, you're not going to know how to fix it. Why? You can't hear it. I can't hear the problem. But if you have a problem like this and she's, then all of a sudden you're like, what's wrong with her? So if you understand the concept, you're like, it's me. Hashem is telling me
Listen,
I have a
listen.
problem with money. Hashem is telling me I have a problem with anger. Hashem is telling me I have a problem with this. So therefore, if I calm down, if I relax, she's going to automatically relax.
Again, you said also before that, excuse me, that there's some women that will not react to the husband. And then you said,
Forget about-
continue doing it. So
Listen
what
to me.
if Hashem is
Listen to me.
not
Listen to
gonna
me.
give him-
You know when we said that? You know when we said that? When he will never listen. If he's not
How
going
do
to
you
change,
know?
if he's not going to
How do
change,
you know?
so if you come to shul, if you come to
It doesn't
learn,
mean anything. People go,
what are you talking? Okay, again, we're not person. This is
I'm not saying
recording.
personally.
Yeah, later on, if you want, I'll give you on the head. You'll understand it. But listen to what he's saying. He says one cannot hide. Yes.
You don't know how many people eat pork all day long.
Yes, you're right, you said.
Pork they eat.
Yes, yes.
זה אסור,
That's
וזה אסור. There is something called הונאת הדברים. ויראת מאלוקיך, אני השם. If you're gonna hurt her, I'm telling you, your mother, it's worse than even pork. Much worse.
So, Rabbi,
Because pork, the body is pork נכנס לנשמה, just into the neshama, and you damage. And I see it day in and day out, all day. What do you do? What are you? I don't know.
They don't see that the way, that's the way.
Because they don't know. They think it's a toy, and I can do whatever I
It's
want.
not about that, because if somebody says
I know
something,
family, there's complete shalom bayit. Complete shalom bayit.
I
He's not
know.
religious, he's not observant at all.
I
But
know.
live like, I don't know, dream. Dream family. So how you explain
how's
this?
that possible? Yeah.
He has bunch of, he's not observing Shabbat.
Don't judge anybody from the outside.
Yeah, outside, you don't know what's
I'm
going
teaching you a
on.
lesson. I got surprised so many times. I was stunned. Couldn't believe my ears. You see people outside, you think like Mamash Romeo.
I'm not talking about Parnasah, forget
No,
about
no,
this.
no,
I'm talking
forget
about
it.
shalom bayit.
I know what is from Bible. That's my profession. I thought that they met something to
Look upon.
look up.
Exactly, yeah.
One day they came and said, "Oh, Chaim, we decided we want to depart." I said, they met. I was speechless. I said, are you serious? They said, yeah. We lived for the children, you know, we were nice, we were intelligent, I didn't care.
It was act.
It was act.
It was acting, yeah. Okay.
It was an act. Don't judge from the outside. From the back.
So in that case, what's the purpose of choosing the
I
right
teach you,
woman?
I teach you one of this. If a couple
Anyone.
get divorced, you never know what the reason for the divorce. I was a captain, again, I'll tell you. My general said, if something is going wrong, your head is on the line. I said, but you gave me 150 psychic. Each one has his own, we don't care. What we don't care? Well, one I can take care of total. 150. What am I going to do with it? He said, welcome to the army. Be psycholog now. But your head,
I understand.
we say, talk to her. Talk to her. Should I talk to the soldier or should I talk to the captain? Man, I don't understand. He said, talk to her. This is helpful. Is upside down.
You know, Rabbi, in the history, there was a time when women was on the top. That's what they say. So matriarchat, whatever it is. So the women, they were hunting, they were doing whatever men do right now. There was a period of time when women was in charge. And the men stay at home and take care of the family. You never heard this? I'll find it, I send it to you. This is a historic fact. I see nobody heard about
He's
it.
talking anthropology class in Queens College.
No.
But let's continue.
I took that class.
Let's continue. Let's continue.
This good for Uzbekistan. This is anthropology class.
Look what it says. He says, one cannot hide lack of peace in home. Why? Eventually the wife will break down and confide to her friend or to her mother. The neighbors will hear things or will just see the miserable couple facing, problems. He says, not only will people look down at the husband, but the wife and the children will also lose respect for him. Since he's responsible for this shameful situation, he is the source of embarrassment to them. You understand? It says, by forfeiting peace with his wife to preserve his honor, he ends up disgracing himself and his family beyond his worst nightmares. He becomes a living example of what our sages say, that whoever chases after honor eludes him. Honor, bye-bye. Yeah, he stood up. Why? Because he wants to be a man. He doesn't want to be a trapka, mop, right? What happened? Now he has no wife. Now his kids hate him. Nobody wants to see him. You hear? So he's saying, when a man places peace before everything else, including his own honor, then although he may lose face occasionally in the short term, in the long term, he merits true honor, peace in his home. Everyone respects a person with self-control who concedes to others for the sake of peace. The Gemara praises such a person. It says, who are shamed but do not shame, who hear their disgrace and do not respond. About them it says, and his beloved ones are like the sun coming out in the spring.
Person will not
You
get
hear?
sick. All like this.
No,
inside.
no, it's not inside. Let me tell you something. It's not
You're
inside.
upset now. You don't want to get your anger. You hold it inside.
So I'm gonna
Sick.
give you an example for me. 26 years I was holding inside. Now there's nothing to hold inside. You know why? It's my fault. Inside is when you're thinking it's her fault and I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. But outside is no. It's not her fault. I'm doing something wrong. She's showing me what I'm doing wrong. I gotta fix myself. There's nothing inside. But 26 years, I'm saying, what's wrong with her? I don't understand what's wrong with her. So therefore, I'm holding this. Okay, I'm not gonna say anything. But I hate her. You hear what I'm saying? No, but that's what he's saying. And now, look, because you hate her, she hates you. Because we said that concept. Reflection. You hear? So now what happens now? Now, whatever she does, it's the stick, Hashem. She's the dog. She's not a dog. But I'm saying, so therefore, Hashem's you looked over there? Trach. You on Instagram 3 hours in the middle of the night? Trach. You went to a certain place you're not supposed to go? Trach. Now, who's giving it to you? She's giving it to you. Now, when you know this concept, you blame yourself. So what are you keeping inside? Now you clean yourself out, and she becomes normal.
Can you say it this way also? That if she looks at another guy, she does things inappropriate, then I start screaming her and this and that. Can you say it this way also? It's a stick for me.
You're not supposed to scream at her.
Let
her look.
Hold on a second.
They don't look.
Or she wants
They
to
don't
come.
have a word there.
You know, no such thing.
Baruch John.
What?
You see,
Today we live in
gotta get
Yeah,
a not
mustache.
normal world.
I understand. So we're all not normal then.
Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's
You have to remind yourself
so-
every morning I'm normal.
Baruch John. This is not about personal questions.
it's not a personal
You
question.
listen
Can
to
say
me.
the
You
same
listen to
thing?
me. You listen to me.
But they don't
Do you
say-
know why she's looking? Because all day you looking.
Actually,
If you fix yourself, she's not going to be looking. You see, you don't understand the concept. The concept here, she's reflection. Why is she wearing mini skirt? Because you like mini skirts. So Hashem says, why you got to look at mini skirts? I'm going to put a mini skirt right in front of your house. Look at mini skirts all you want. You understand? So therefore, he says, Hertzniut, don't say anything. Work on yourself. Work on yourself. He says, work on yourself. You will see her change. What does that mean? What does that mean? You're desiring it. He's going to give it to you.
But he
He's going to give it to you.
Digesting it now.
One second. One
He
second.
did mention a point.
Who?
Rav does say.
Which Rav?
Rav Chaim.
I remember he said to me, "Don't
What?
Hertzniut
He
is
told
not."
me if she
He
wants to
told
leave
me.
the house,
He
you're
told
not
me.
going until you
He
get
told
dressed.
me.
That's it.
Hertzniut is between her and Hashem,
why
not
should
your,
you
not
guys-
your. That's what he
So
said
yeah,
to me.
we have different-
Maybe your wife will be able to accept this.
Maybe
You understand?
your case
No,
was different.
maybe she was acceptable. She took it on, You did, and therefore he allowed you to say it. But some women don't give a damn what you're saying. Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing?
This is how it is.
Why did I say that it between you, between her and Hakadosh Baruch Hu? Because I cannot say it's your fault. So then you're gonna have jumping.
Exactly.
So I said, this is Hashem. She does it because your mind is in 55 places.
Oh no.
She does it because
Your mind is in 55 places.
So it's between her and Hakadosh Baruch Hu.
no,
But
they
I think
look at the
time
friend.
came, Rabbi,
They look at the
you have to
friend.
say it straight
They
to
look
the
at their
man.
own friend.
Boris,
Today,
you want to tell
Changing my
him,
tactics,
throw the book
a while
out,
ago I changed
throw the
tactics
book
to
out.
talk.
Читаешь женщины, почему он не будет говорить, и смотрите на свои подушки, как они одеваются.
You should
Почему
not
ты
read the
говоришь,
woman's book.
Boris,
You're not allowed
I think
to
I'm gonna
read
throw you out of the
woman's
class.
book. This is
Because
Robert.
you're not following the directives of this book. This book, you know what you want to do? You want to put partial blame on the wife. That's what we've been doing for the past
You want
26
to
years.
write a new book.
Yeah,
also.
you cannot. It's either you take all the blame, or she takes the blame. If you want, you could say, you know what? I want to be the lady. You command everything. That's not what he's saying. Here, according to you, one second.
Everything is our fault. It's impossible.
Okay.
It's impossible.